Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao. Welcome to my evening daily talk or presentation, whatever you call it. For me, just spending some time expressing what is real to me and what's important to me, right? I was talking about liberation yesterday, and this is the concluding part, and how important this topic is in um, many people who kind of fruition in their life, ended certain quests and had lived a life of various experiences. They finally come to seek for the liberation of uh, here and now. Okay, and this was very much the spiritual quest, the epitome or finality or climax of the spiritual quest in ancient India, for example. They had several stages of this to begin with, to realize who we are. That is the self realization. But realization, understanding, and really identifying our true nature, that is simple affair. It's no big deal. But then after that, so many years of spiritual practices to stay in that, that becomes the real challenge. Many of us are in that mode. But after that, we are kind of end up liberated while living. That's the goal. For that, they want to have, you should be having the knowledge of that reality and purification of your heart of all desires and focus or absorption into the ultimate reality, right? They call them uh, uh, tattvagnana, vasanakshaya, and manonasha. Manonasha is the absorption or samadhi or focused mind. Vasanakshaya is the purification of heart by unselfish work, karma yoga, and really having the inclination or insight into our true nature. Okay, that is the tattva gnana. So many people may understand, may realize, but will not have the ethical manifestation of that realization, right? And if they should do it, then they will be completely liberated from the world, its miseries, its sorrow, and also end up in joyful self. That's what it is. What they promised by understanding the spiritual epitome or peak is resolution of the complete sorrow and attainment of the complete fulfillment. Okay, so it may be not uh, interesting for many people, or few people may be really into that. Even then, one in a million will have this, I believe. So, but general liberation we talk about is just give us a life that's devoid of all the uh, troubles or sorrows we have in our regular life, or really make our mind such a peaceful abode that we don't have all these problems and sorrows and lack of happiness and all. That's one thing, though. You don't have to have so much, you don't have to clamor for so much external things, but just be quiet and realize you have that uh, big bundle of joy and blissfulness within us, and then you can do that. See, one way they talked about is keep the mind completely calm and really eradicate all the things that arise in our mind. That's quite difficult. Or you see the negativities in your mind and replace them in with the positivities. That is quite possible. Or you and the negativities come, accentuate them so that they will burn out. Okay, that's very difficult. So in Buddhism, for example, they had these three systems, right? Uh, 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 the first one is about really extinguish everything. Uh, uh, and the second one is Mahayana, where you kind of replace the negativities with the positives. And the third one is Tantric, which is really handling the energy, you know. But essentially, it comes down to really calming the mind and going and absorption in the reality that is revealed after calming the mind. That is dhyana. To do that, because we are exposing ourselves to the external stimuli, we have a lot of desires. That way, our heart is not purified. We are full of desires. That's why do some unselfish work and clear your mind from all this dirt of desire. Okay, so that's those are the systems. But essentially, having this lightness within us by really understanding uh, what is this liberation is really, if you can see that, it's very simple. But as long as you don't see that, you will have the burden of your mind's operations really covering that real self, right? So you want to have a liberation as a means, because many people who are inwardly oriented turned inward and found out the real self. They were able to get this very easily, because this is not a liberation out there and we have to go for it. We'll only have to uncover the coverings that are there on the liberation. Okay? So that way you are already liberated, but you think you are not. That's why you want to come there and then really take off all those things. That is the spiritual practices do. If you do yoga in terms of four yogas, action yoga, karma yoga, do unselfish, and you do bhakti yoga, that's the devotional yoga, where you have both focus and also you have no desires, but desire for the Lord or whatever you think the divine is. And then once you are purified your heart and mind, and then also focused your mind, it's very easy to understand this because it's already there. And you just will end up in that. You are already in that. You will just reveal that to you. So there's nothing like a striving for liberation going on all of that, but it's more like really understanding that is there. It's covered up by our own not knowing things, right? But the end of the result is the Achyadika Dukkha Nivritti Paramananda Prapti. That means resolution of the extreme sorrow. Even if extreme sorrow comes to you, you will resolve that, because it is your body and mind which is not you, which is suffering, whereas you as the real self is not suffering, right? And also you will reveal the extreme joy that people have when they come upon the real self. Okay, that they call this self-realization. Realize already that self which is us, which is not our body or mind. And then to be stabilized in that is to really go through so many other practices, at the end of which you will be really stabilized in that. and you will not be deviated from that. That means you will be established in that awareness, in that dhyana, in that samadhi, and your mind will be quiet. Only when you need it, practical purpose, it may be there, but it is not going to create another personality, ego, or anything like that. So, two things that are required is the purification of the mind and focus of the mind. If you can work on them, then you'll already have this knowledge about yourself, which is going to show you that you are a liberated being. And that is very light. That is very peaceful. People who have touched in that because they are selfless, that's because they don't need anything, they are already fulfilled. And they are fearless because they know their real self is going to permanently last and only the body mind will go. And they have peace and they're benevolent and beneficent to all, and they see the divinity in all people. So that kind of stability is called sthita prajna, you know, where you say both me ekta. That means your knowledge of what people are, what kind of energy they are in, is only one energy, only one self, and that's why they are not different from us. So that's why you have that equanimous way of looking at people. And chit me samata, your mind will not waver from sorrow to happiness and all that. Whatever the circumstances are, it is kind of equanimous in its reactions to the life. And in life, okay, vyavahar mein asangata. That means when you deal with the life, you would be detached, not attached and then missing it out and all that. It's not there. And then finally, all this happens because if you don't let your mind be influenced by external senses, external stimuli, you know, that means you have to control your senses, indriya nigraha. Once the indriya nigrahas are there and they stimulate, you don't react and your mind is stable. As the mind is stable, you can feel and realize what is behind the mind, your true nature. And once you are really established in true nature, you are liberated from the changing mind, changing heart, changing desires, and stimuli from external, all that. That is liberation. That kind of liberation will not come just because you are pursuing external things and all your energies have gone in that. Then you will not have any inclination to look inside of you. That's the problem. But if you are doing, with stability, with sthira, that means stability, um, then you will be performing your job, you will be taking care of the family, but at the same time, you pay attention to your inner growth, inner realization, and all these things. Okay? So, liberation comes when you unburden yourself with the things that you have accumulated, either externally or internally. Hopefully, this made some sense to some people, and it is something that people can follow and do their own inner work. And I just wanted to let people know how this made such a important contribution to what I do with my inner search and inner awakeness and awakening, and the lightness of being that you experience. It cannot be describable. Okay, it is something that's beyond language, beyond words, that you should experience yourself. Okay, then you will be relishing in the lightness of your being. Okay, which is truly a blessing. With that, I will stop here because I don't want to go into this too much like a language. I just want to indicate maybe some people who experience it will be related to that. This is not something you get from anybody, but the way is inward. The means are intuition, awareness, and the result is lightness. You are liberated from your weight that you are accumulating within yourself. You can be very clever, very argumentative, and have a lot of knowledge, but the true thing is, are you light in your being? That is a testimony. Are you quiet? Are you peaceful? Are you not influenced by the things today and tomorrow? Are you not swayed by the likes and comments and all those things and then get depressed if they are not? So you're truly independent. Okay, so I hope that makes some sense. The people who listen to this recording, I know some people record, that's why I do this. If people come or not, it doesn't really matter to me. But I'm recording it for the people who want to listen to this depth of uh, topic on liberation. Okay, I will be seeing you again tomorrow with another edition of the spiritual truths that were presented. And when I heard or came upon them, it made a lot of sense. So I'm just trying to share what went through my mind, what has happened with my life and all that. Okay, thank you, and I'll be seeing you again tomorrow.